Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good pleasant day. My name is MOHAMAD AZIZI bin RAHUDIN, MH11005. Today I will explain to you about the engine coolant temperature sensor. This is the engine coolant temperature sensor. Now I will explain about how the engineering quantity this sensor engine quantity into the electrical signal. The engine coolant temperature sensor is resistance change in response to ECT. The sensor resistance decreases as the coolant temperature increases, and it conversely. It provides reference to the powertrain control module or electronic control unit or ECU. This means from the temperature, it will produce a voltage and then convert it into the analog, and then ECU determines spark, advanced AGR flow rate, air fuel ratio, and engine temperature. This means after it convert to analog, it will transfer the signal into the ECU, then ECU will convert it into the digital. After that, the signal from the digital will transmit to the other related component. Example is spark, advanced AGR flow rate, air fuel ratio, and engine temperature. For the signal analysis, with the measure its resistance and voltage readings, coolant sensor output displayed in degree centigrade, Celsius, or Fahrenheit. The internal resistance of a coolant sensor can also be checked using ohmmeter or digital voltmeter and compare with the specifications. If the sensor is open, shorted, or reached out of range, it must be replaced. The sensitivity of the sensor is the coolant temperature sensor, which is control a domestic hot water system to highly sensitive semiconductor types that can control complex process control plants. The application of the sensor in experiment or lab is similar to the use of sensor in the rear vehicle. It measures the temperature in the engine coolant system and sends the information to the ECU. Then the ECU will transmit order to the related components. Another application of this coolant temperature sensor, another temperature sensor, is first is thermometer, divided into two: fluid system thermometer and bimetal thermometer. Second is resistance temperature detectors, RTD, and third is thermocouples. As you can see, this is the location of the engine temperature sensor. How to remove and replace this coolant temperature sensor is first we throw out the coolant sensor from the engine cooling system from this drain valve, and then loosen the engine coolant temperature sensor carefully, and then after that remove the sensor with the new sensor and then install it to this location. After we replace the sensor with the new sensor, we install the sensor in this location and then install it carefully, because if we don't install it carefully, it will take a damage. And then refill the coolant at this part, and then done. Okay.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Today I will present about the flow sensor meter. Okay, this is a sample of the experiment that I have in the fluid lab. Okay, this is the phantom wheel sensor. At the inside of this, it has a fan blade or the impeller. At the top is the sensor coil, and this is a wire to supply voltage to the reader. Okay, I will proceed the more detail in the sketching. And very good morning. Today I will present about the working principle of the flow meter sensor. Okay, as we can see on the screen here, this is a cross section of the flow meter sensor. This is a impeller of the blade. This is a sensor coil. this is a inlet for the flow rate. Okay, as we can see here, when the flow meter is installed and activate, the water will enter in the inlet, passing through the nozzle guard flow to the impeller. Okay, after that, the blade will rotate proportionally to the rate of the flow rate that enter on the pipe. The blade has a ferromagnetic field that can make a magnetic field to the sensor coil. The blade has made up from the ferrite. Okay, when the tip of blade touch the sensor coil, it will give a light signal. The light signal that produce its function to give the signal that the sensor is function or not. Okay, when the blade passing the sensor, it will generate the water path. The water path that produce equal in the frequency to the number of the blade that passing through the sensor. Okay, the signal that produced from the sensor coil are formed in the form of the sinusoidal frequency wave. Okay, then the signal from the frequency wave is convert from the analog to the discrete to produce the reading of the flow rate. Okay, the frequency that produced here will represent the fluid velocity for the flow rate the entering of the pipe. Okay, that's all for my explanation. I hope you understand what I explained about the flow sensor. Okay, thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant good evening. My name is AMIRULHAMZAH bin ZAINUDDIN. As you can see, I'm a mechanical engineer student at University of Pahang. Today, I would like to share my knowledge with you all about an electrical component that has significant use in our daily life. That component is called oxygen sensor, or also known as lambda sensor. And here's an engine block. As you can see, this is the exhaust pipe of the engine. As well as you can see, this is the oxygen sensor, which I'm going to show to you all. This is a single wire oxygen sensor, or as I said before, lambda sensor. So how does this help with the engine performance? Well, basically, oxygen sensor helps with fuel efficiency. As you all learn in engines work through combustion. How does combustion happen? Combustion happens when fuel and air mix together and it is ignited within the piston chamber. When ignited, the explosion creates energy or power which moves the piston. That is how we understand the basic fundamental knowledge on how engine works. But what does oxygen sensor have to do with all of this? Well, as you can see, this sensor is mounted on the exhaust pipe, which means every time combustion happens, this sensor will measure the amount of oxygen left in this exhaust. As you can see, when combustion happens, oxygen and fuel mixture are burned together. So this sensor helps indicate how much oxygen amount is within this exhaust. There are two conditions which occur oftenly. One condition where oxygen amount is reached. When oxygen amount is reached, it means that the combustion is not fully. The fuel is not fully burned or the oxygen is not fully burned. The other condition is where oxygen level is very low. That is indicating that the oxygen within the combustion is fully burned. So, how does this sensor work? Of course, by measuring the oxygen amount within the exhaust, this sensor reacts chemically. Chemically, by measuring the amount of oxygen, it will send an electrical pulse to the powertrain control module, or PCM, which is the brain of the car. This sensor will send electrical voltage if for high concentration of oxygen within the exhaust. It will send above 0.5 volts. It will tell the PCM how much fuel is needed to be injected within the combustion chamber. So basically, if the oxygen level is low, it will send an electrical voltage below 0.5. Basically meaning that this sensor helps fuel efficiency by telling the car how much fuel it is needed to be injected within the oxygen chamber. So in a sense, this sensor helps fuel efficiency and helps to promote fully combustion. And basically, what does fuel efficiency have to do? Of course, it will increase the engine's performance. As you can see, this sensor, while promoting full combustion, it will also help the engine to save fuel. When the amount of fuel injected in the combustion is fully burned, of course, the amount of waste fuel is not much. As we can see through history, engines have been developed to produce more and more combustion. This is why this vehicle sensor helps a lot. Because if we don't have full combustion, it will be a lot of waste, and of course it will create contaminants. As we can see, the exhaust will create gas, which is one of the major environmental problems. So back to our sensor. The sensor is set here as a ceramic coating layer. It will react with that mixture and it will send electrical signal. So by this is called a single oxygen sensor single wire. So it will send electrical impulse. The basic fundamental is like how our own skin will detect the air mixture. It will send to our brain and it will send information to our sensor. So this oxygen, in a way, as I said before, it measures the oxygen and it helps fuel efficiency. And that is all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Abdul Rahman dari KAMARUDDIN. My ID number MH111109. Okay, now I am at the fluid mechanic lab to explain a little bit about the strain gauge. Okay, this is a strain gauge at the surface area at this object. Strain gauge is the smaller one. Okay, the function of the strain gauge is to measure the change in resistance by using concept of resistance bridge. Okay, it also using the principle of stretch of wire. Okay, how we install this? Strain gauge is first we put the strain gauge at the clean surface at this object, then we mount it at the valve. Okay, we mount at the valve like here, like this. Then to calculate the pressure, we open the flow water, then the water will flow from here, enter into the bottom of the object, at here. Water will enter in here. Then it will detect by the strain gauge. How it calculate the strain gauge? If the force that flow into the bottom of the object higher, it will become a deformation of foil at the strain gauge. Okay, the more tension of the more tension of the wire gauge, the foil, it means it have higher electrical resistance. It also means the higher electrical resistance proportional with the higher of strain. Okay, if the deformation become lower or decrease, another meaning, the wire foil become compressed, it means it's not enough force. So it less strain. Also electrical system also decrease. Okay, the function of this strain gauge in this lab to calculate pressure. For the function strain gauge in the industry, the engineer of civil will use it to measure the building structure. Okay, that's how the strain gauge pressure can be read is by when the pressure flow into the bottom of the strain gauge, the sensor will detect by using the electrical unit. When it's detect, the electrical unit will transfer into the electrical unit. The electrical unit will transfer into the DC lab. DC lab have opened before the DC lab have opened early. So when the flow meter have opened, from the sensor strain gauge into the electrical unit, then into the DC lab, then we can read the pressure value. That's all.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SYAHIRAN bin KAMARULZAMAN. My ID number is MA11179. Okay, today I will explain about thermocouple sensor. What is thermocouple sensor and how does thermocouple work? And I will show you a little bit about. I will show you some experiment to show you how thermocouple sensor work. Okay. What actually is thermocouple? Thermocouple is measurement tool that detects temperature, either hot or cool, and it can convert it into electrical signal like voltage, current, or sound. Okay, thermocouple work when two different materials are joined together. It can make some junction, and the junction of two dissimilar metal produce a temperature depends voltage. Okay, now I will show you some experiment. What we have here, this multimeter, as you can see it. And this is a thermocouple. Thermocouple we're gonna use today is type J, and as you can see, this is two different material. One is copper and one is iron. The copper representative for negative charge, and the iron representative for positive charge. And these two different we are joined together in this road. Okay, I will use a lighter. Firstly, I will turn it off into the voltage side. You can see this 200 millivolts. Okay. When I turn in a light, give some heat to the thermocouple. You can see, right? The voltage at the multimeter is rise up. When I turn off the light, the reading at the multimeter is slowly going down. Okay, that's how thermocouple sensor work. As you can see in this lab, we all have a lot of thermocouple, such as this. Measure temperature. Okay, so I think that's all for me about a little bit explanation about the thermocouple sensor. I hope all the viewers can understand what I just said today. So that's all for me. Thank you.